Omega returns to Tantiss. Crosshair comes up with a plan. The team pulls off a prison break and more as the Sky Guys are back to recap the latest episode of The Bad Batch.
All right, we are back here on the Sky Guys podcast, getting ready to cover the latest episode of The Bad Batch, where we dealt with some juggernauts this week. And one of your hosts, Mike Phillips, back with us this week after he was trying to defend Pablo last week. He was unsuccessful. Pete Consadori is back with us. Pete, how are you?
Doing well. Sorry I had a miss. I was defending that planet pretty hard, so glad to be back and glad to talk some more Star Wars with you guys.
Yeah, and since we missed you last week, Pete, what did you think about the 2 episodes we got?
They were good. I enjoyed them. Pushed the story along nicely. Kind of had me at the edge of my seat for the last episode. Was that 11?
Yep.
10, 11, or 11, 12? Yeah, so episode 11 made me want to know more what was going to happen, and I think this week we got a pretty good answer about what's going to happen for the rest of the season.
Yep. Also with us here today, the Warden of Erebus. He took some time off from his supervisor duties to come join us. Nick Fraietta is here. Nick, how are you?
Doing great. We're getting there. We're almost done here. What do we got? 4 left? 3 left?
3 left after today.
3 left after today. 4, including to this episode. We're getting there, and it's very exciting. I'm very excited for the end of the season.
Absolutely. I'm excited for the end of season 2 here. And Pete, people want to subscribe to us on the Sky Guys and do so Apple Podcasts, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, Amazon, all usual suspects. Simply search for the Sky Guys for your podcast platforms, find episodes there. We have a couple weeks of Bad Batch left, but I mean, we have a lot of content coming up here after the season ends, so make sure you're subscribed.
Hey, listen, you missed out on me saying it last week, so you guys got the break you deserved. But now I'm back, so subscribe. You gotta subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Just go ahead and do it. You won't regret it.
Yep, and Nick, you want to follow us on social media? How can I do that?
You can follow at Sky Guys Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and TikTok. We post a bunch of reels from the show.
Yep. You can also check out the YouTube version, Mike Phillips on YouTube. You can see our lovely faces and Zoom backgrounds on here, our graphics, plus our props, and another little quiet presence for Omega this week, but she was there. She was there at the beginning of the end of the episode.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a heavy Omega focused episode, and then it just wasn't. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, they just kind of parked Omega for the week.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some Star Wars news here. And Nick, a lot happened in the last week. Remember last week I said we don't have much. This week we had a lot.
Yeah, so a lot happened is definitely correct. The first thing that happened was they released the trailer for Tales of the Empire, essentially Tales of the Jedi Season 2. And it's going to focus on Barriss Offee and Morgan Elsbeth. And I didn't watch the trailer. I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, Pete, did you check this trailer out?
No. As much as I'm excited for it, I haven't seen the trailer at all.
Can I ask you, Pete? Because I have a reason. Is there a reason you haven't seen it yet?
I mean, for me, when I say I'm interested in it, I'm interested because it's new, but I don't know if the 2 characters have me like, oh my God. And also too, I feel like it was released and that was the last I saw of it. I feel like there's no follow-up to it. So it's not reminding me to go say, oh, watch the trailer, you know?
I agree with your character analysis. The reason I haven't watched it is I want to watch it and sit down and like examine it. And I feel like I've had time to obviously watch it. What is it, a minute, 2 minutes? Yeah. But I want to like do an in-depth analysis of it after I watch it. And I just haven't had that time. That's why I haven't watched it.
Yeah, well, I did the homework assignment. I did watch the trailer when it came out here. And I got to say here, this was very interesting. I did like where we went here. We got to see Thrawn in the Clone Wars animation style, which is pretty cool. We got a lot of Inquisitor stuff. Barriss had some fun stuff coming up here, and we get to see the return of General Grievous as well in animation, because at one point Morgan's fighting him on Dathomir. That's gonna be pretty fun.
That'll be awesome. That's May 4th, so not far at all. Wow. We were all under the impression like similar to like Fallen Order. Remember when Fallen Order announced there's a sequel? We're like, oh, it's going to be called Fallen Order 2. We didn't realize Star Wars Jedi was the series, not Fallen Order. So then they threw at us what was the name of Fallen Order 2? Jedi Survivor. And we're all like, oh, I guess that was it. Like similar to this. Tales of the Jedi. We were expecting Tales of the Jedi Season 2. Instead, we get that's the series. Tales of the is the series. Jedi and Empire are the seasons, and we didn't really picked up on that either. So it's like another curveball they threw at us.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about the future, Pete, but I think Tales of the Blank for Star Wars shorts is a great way to give them lots of room to do lots of things.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think it opens up a lot of opportunity to kind of describe some characters that we don't have the whole story on without having to go into the production of a full season of something. So it definitely gives a lot of opportunity.
All right, what else we got, Nick?
The next thing is The Mandalorian and Grogu, the movie that is essentially going to be our next season of The Mandalorian, is going to be released in theaters on May 22nd, 2026. We finally got a release date. Let's get a little closer and see if this date remains. I don't see any reason it wouldn't, but let's hold our horses before we get too excited on this date. That is Memorial Day weekend, the Friday before.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah, hopefully that date sticks. We'll see. The next item is Bo Willimon, who wrote the Prison Break arc for Andor, is a co-writer on the Dawn of the Jedi movie. That's the James Mangold movie. So that's good,
Yeah,
considering that was a great arc.
Yeah, Pete, this is like I also wrote House of Cards, and like fact we got him on this movie is a huge win, considering what we think this could be. This is the right guy.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see how that goes.
What else, Nick?
Next is excuse me, Hiroki Sanada, the star of Shogun, who I haven't seen. I haven't seen the show yet, but I'm very interested in that show.
It's a great.
Wants to be in a Star Wars project. So does everybody else. So.
Yeah, he's a fantastic
How's
actor.
he? How's he specifically in the show?
He is the star of the show. He's a fantastic actor. Like he's in a lot of stuff. He's had a long prestigious career. If Star Wars gave him a project, they'd be blessed.
So he's the lead and star.
Yes,
That's great. Yeah, that's great. So hopefully it works out. That'd be great. And last, Star Wars Outlaws is the game coming out. The release date is August 30th. The story trailer dropped. And I don't know. What do you guys think? You watched it. I watched it. Mikey, I know you watched it. Pete, did you watch the story trailer?
I didn't realize there was a story trailer. I just thought that they announced the packages that you can
came
get.
out. Was it yesterday or Monday?
it was yesterday.
Monday.
They record.
Oh,
I'll
yesterday.
take a look. I'm behind on my trailers, apparently.
Yeah. Well, this one I didn't.
2 weeks.
I didn't love. It didn't draw me in whatsoever. It looks like so we're gonna agree as a team right now. Is it Ubisoft or Ubisoft?
Ubisoft.
I always say Ubisoft.
Go Pete's pronunciation.
All right, we're gonna say Ubisoft, and if anyone disagrees in the comments, you can leave it below. This is a standard Ubisoft. It's an open world game that has nothing to it except the fact that it's open world. This would have been awesome in 2007, like Assassin's Creed 1, but it's 2024 now, and we're going to have tiered pricing for the game, and it's microtransactions up the wazoo.
I'm gonna pop this on the screen here real quick. This Pete, did you see this? That we have 3 different tiers of video game release for Star Wars Outlaws here. So Nick, you can take it away again.
Well, this is not that uncommon nowadays, but there's a standard edition, which is the base game. Then there's the gold, which is the base game, the season pass, and 3 days of early access. And then there's an ultimate, which includes everything in the gold, plus bundles and stuff like that. That's not that uncommon now. Most games do have a deluxe edition and whatnot. What's getting me is, why is there a season pass? Does that mean we're planning on making this one of those, like, what are they called again? Those live running game? What do they call that? What's the word?
MMO.
No. It's the game just came out by Ubisoft, actually. Skull and Bones, the pirate game, and they're called a live service game.
Yeah, I think
Which means that it's not just a single player game that you play it, you beat it, and you put it down. They're planning on making this a thing that keeps going, and we know it's not going to happen. Why would I keep playing this after I beat it?
I mean, I think most of the time season passes are DLC, whether that's extra missions, whether that's an extra slew of missions. I feel like in this game, based upon what I've seen prior to the trailer, it's probably going to be they have 2 or 3 releases of DLC missions and maybe a different part of the open world. I gotta say, I think games need to start getting away from this 3 different editions. Ubisoft is notorious for this. But a base game now, especially with inflation and how things have been going, is $69.99 on the major platforms. It's no longer $59.99. Now you say,
Or
Pete,
tax too.
right. So you say, Pete, well, that's only a $10 difference. It was a long time coming. And yes, I agree. It's only $10. But I can probably guarantee you the gold is going to be close to $90 and the ultimate's going to be close to 110, 120.
I actually have the price on those as well, Pete. The gold is.
You have the
I'm gonna
prices?
guess. I'm gonna guess it's $69.99, $79.99, and $99.99.
Not close. It's $69.99 for the base, $110 for the gold, and $130 for the ultimate.
But see, this is where it gets ridiculous. I understand that prices need to go up, but even 5 years ago, if someone said I spent $130 on a video game, that even if he gets you 30, 40, 50 hours on, is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't care how much DLC or how much extra content you get. There's a lot of free-to-play games out there. I think Ubisoft is digging themselves in a hole because they're more worried about the cash grab, and some people will buy it. I'm not going to say that the consumer's not the issue at this point because they will buy it, but $130 for a video game.
Yeah.
Let that sink in for a second.
Yeah, if you're planning, Mike, on covering the DLC missions on this podcast, I will not be partaking. I will buy this game almost definitely, but I will be buying the base game.
We are absolutely not planning on covering the DLC.
I will be covering the base. I will be playing the base game, spending the minimum amount I can on the game. I will beat it, and then I will never touch it again, most likely, unless I really love it, which I doubt, and I'll play it more than once.
Yeah, and to be clear here, the difference between the ultimate and the base game here is you get looks like at once one DLC mission, a season pass, 3 cosmetic bundles, and a digital art book. That's not worth another $70, in my opinion.
No, I mean it's
wow.
literally double the price. And I'll tell you right now, this game, I can already tell you with popularity, I bet you within the first 3 months it goes on sale.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can't see this game staying at full price after launch. I mean, this has happened before. People hype up a game because it's Star Wars. Again, huge price point at the Ultimate Edition of $130. You used to be able to get a special edition with like an actual like figurine and a physical book and all that kind of stuff for like under $100. Now this is nuts. So I can probably, like I said, guarantee you within the first 3, I'll go 3 to 6 months. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. First 3 to 6 months, this game goes on sale because people are not going to buy it, especially at that price point. I think $70 is going to be a lot for what they're giving, especially because it's Ubisoft and it's open world. It's been done 80 million times. This is nothing groundbreaking.
I'll call my shot here, Pete. When you get the Black Friday circular for Best Buy or for whatever electronic superstore you go to, it's gonna be $39.99.
I wouldn't go that low. I would say probably within the first year of launch, it probably dropped down to maybe $50, $40 at max. I think this game doesn't break that threshold until it's been out a couple of years, especially digital editions. Digital editions don't tend to go on sale. It's usually the physical copies. But I think you're right. I think Black Friday deals, it's going to be one of those games. And again, like I said, you're going to see this go on sale 3 to 6 months. There's no way that they're going to sell a lot of the copies of this.
This game also may be free if you have Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
Or PlayStation Plus. This game might end up being part of Ubisoft Plus, may end up on Game Pass or PlayStation Plus, whatever. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, I think we'll keep an eye on this game. We're not going to cover it at some point, but like it's not going to be a Jedi Survivor situation. We're covering basically immediately after release. This might be in the back burner a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's it for the news.
Long game.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for the news here. Let's get to our episode here. Juggernaut. And we were correct last week, Nick, when we said this is going to Phee Genoa side mission. And I thought we got a pretty good side mission because this is basically the last thing in the trail we hadn't seen yet. And it's just more fun than I thought it was going to be.
I agree. I liked the mission. I was gonna say I liked the episode. I thought it was really good, and especially if you're dealing with a quote unquote side episode or filler episode, if you really leave me at the end being like, I want to watch the next one, then I think you did a good job, and that's exactly how I felt at the end.
Yeah, Pete, what'd you think about Juggernaut?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same as Nick. I think that this whole season has been doing a great job at trying to make sure we're at the edge of our seats a little bit and trying to want to know more and where this is going to come. It concerns me a little bit about where we are at the season. We'll talk about that later on in the episode. But this is very good.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna kind of go through the plot pretty quick because there's a lot of action. This one, there's not a ton of plot to discuss. So we'll probably, I would say I'd be shocked if in 10 minutes we're not through the whole episode, but we'll go ahead. Let's do the Omega stuff first. Omega gets brought back at Tantiss. He meets Hemlock. He brings the Emery car for testing. Emery confirms Omega's match of the program. We basically get the explanation from Hemlock in terms of what the M count is and how it can't be replicated because it always degrades. And hers blood gives them the most stable outlet here for the M count blood here. So this is basically Pete building what we learned on with Ventress 2 weeks ago. Now we get a little more information on it.
Yeah, not much, but we do get more information. And this part kind of goes the way you think it would. If you've been keeping up with the Bad Batch and you've seen how these episodes have been going and what the story is, it's pretty status quo. This is not something new that we thought Hemlock was going to do. It's definitely on par for we probably predicted it time and time again.
Yeah. Yeah, and Nick, also I'll point out here too that she ends up getting brought to the room the kids are in, like the kids we met last week, Jax and the other Eva, and the third one, I forgot the third one's name, but I do think here, like, it's interesting here that she says, oh, like, this is your home now, you're gonna stay here for I don't know how long, but I do want to point out here that this is the second time in a row we've been teased with the Ray Shield room here, and this is the second time in a row we realized that this room that we're being shown is not the same one that he took Palpatine to back in the premiere.
Good point. So we still don't really know what's in that Palpatine room.
No, it's a separate room, but they think they both have Ray Shields.
Well, I'm sure we'll find out. I thought it was really. I don't know about you guys, but you know how I've said before that in this show, when you see the first 30 seconds of the episode, you know it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
This gave me the impression, oh, this is going to be a great one, and I still liked it. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be though after those 30 seconds, but I still liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It gave off vibes of this is going to be a Hemlock heavy Empire episode. It wasn't, but it was still very good.
It was a Hemlock sandwich, basically, except the
Yeah.
bread was the meat.
Yeah, Hemlock was the bread. It was a Hemlock roll.
Yeah. Yeah, good Hemlock roll here. And they leave that one here. We'll go to the Bad Batch here. We see Hunter and Batch basically resurface on the beach of Pabu. They reunite with Crosshair and Wrecker in the hut. They basically, Crosshair has this plan. He says, you know what, like, there's one guy who might know where this is. We have to find Vice Admiral Rampart, who has been in Imperial prison since the middle of season 2. Nick, do you want to remind the audience who Rampart is, if you have forgotten?
Oh, I barely remember. That's hilarious that you asked me. But he was what season was he even in?
He was in the first 2 seasons.
Oh. Well, that wasn't he the emperor the admiral that was in charge of Crosshair.
Yeah, he was also the fall guy. Remember when remember Chuchi's trying to take down the clone rights program here, and Rampart basically gets framed by Palpatine. Say, oh, like these rogue clones bombed something, and Rampart was in charge, so Rampart gets arrested for it.
Well, the voice actor for Rampart is Norsher Dalal. If that doesn't sound familiar, he does the voice of what was the name of your buddy in Jedi Survivor who turns on you? Bodhi or Bokes or something? Bode.
Yeah.
Who also does? He's also the voice of, if you played Red Dead Redemption, is Charles from Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay.
So he is a pretty good voice actor.
Yeah, so we find out that Crosshair says, like, Rampart has been to Tantiss, like, we can go bust him out of prison, and then we can use him to find our way back there. And while this is happening here, Phee Genoa just pops up out of the floor for some reason, because apparently there's a secret, like, tunnel in the apartment they're in here, and she basically says that, like, they ask her, how'd you get in without the Empire finding out? It's like, I went in the secret caverns, like, that entrance to get in the ship here. I'm like, that was something nice to tell the Bad Batch about.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that cavern's been shown about 3 times this season already by 3 different characters. So, nice of them to know now. I mean, that could have been problematic for them. It was probably. I mean, is that how the Shadow Trooper or whatever what we're calling him again, Shadow Clone, got in? I don't know. Did he go the long way or?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, he got in that way.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like too little too late at that point.
Yeah, and the plan basically is here that we're going to go to Erebus, which is a Imperial prison planet, and we're going to go bust Rampart out to try and figure out where to get the Tantiss here. So the rest of the episode is a prison break here, and I'll add a couple of things here in terms of getting onto Erebus. They have to take Fee's ship because theirs got blown up last week. Did you either of you laugh at how easily Phee was able to fool the Empire security when her ship arrives on the planet?
A little bit.
I mean, I thought it was kind of good. I mean, was I going like, oh my God, that's so genius? No, but I mean, I was like, of all the things that they could do, that was a good idea.
Yeah, so to reset here, basically, they arrive on the planet. They're getting close to Imperial sensors, and they're like, if you get too much closer, the Empire will spot you. He's like, don't worry, I got this. He basically kills all the powder of his ship, just drops like a stone, and the Empire does nothing to stop that interception here, which, Nick, I don't know how that is just goes over the heads of the entire Empire. They're like, there's a ship, and now all of a sudden it's just falling, and nothing is being done about it.
How do you not know? It's the Empire. The Empire. I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, that's a pretty big miss, though, because that could probably blow something up.
Yeah, I mean, they've never hit a shot ever in all of our years. In how many years Star Wars been around? 41? No,
Technically,
47.
Yeah.
technically, the Death Star did hit its mark. Technically,
Yes.
Every
it was a big target, but technically, it did hit something.
It hit the bullseye on that target.
The only stormtrooper I can think of that ever hit a shot was when they shot Leia.
Yeah.
In Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
But even then, they didn't kill her. So.
Yeah, and we get this. The rest is basically extended prison break, basically where the team infiltrates a convoy. They attack the convoy. They grab Rampart, and Rampart basically knows that he has leverage because they reach everybody else to keep him around. And Rampart says, "Get me off world. I am going to, and then I'll tell you how to get to Tantiss." So I think this is a good play by Rampart here, Pete, considering that he really has nothing to offer them, but he still parlayed his way to getting off the planet.
Yeah, I mean, he was getting off the planet regardless. I think he like thought he had leverage, but the Bad Batch was like, this is what we're gonna do anyway. So like, haha, you got your stuff. So yeah, it was definitely good to get their leverage. Can I ask a quick question about the planet we're on?
Sure.
Am I wrong? Does it give the same vibes as where Bill Burr's character was in The Mandalorian?
It does.
Like, I don't think it's the same planet, but like I feel like with the vehicles and where they were, it just seems like it was a reskin.
Yeah.
I mean, I
agree
could
with
be
that.
wrong, but
Yeah, Nick, I definitely got vibes of the Believer episode where they had the big tanks and they're going through being attacked by the Raiders going to Imperial base. Feels like those same kind of vehicles.
It does.
Yeah. It does here. And also credit to Hunter here as well for basically turning that into a battering ram and just blowing, like driving over another tank and shooting down a bunch of stormtroopers and gunships. This is a big Hunter episode, Nick.
It is. I'm excited for when we get to the MVP LVPs. I think are the Bad Batch themselves may actually move up some slots, which well deserved.
Yeah, Pete, what do you think of Hunter's skills here with the transport ship?
very good. I gotta be honest. The first thing I thought of when I was watching this whole sequence was this would be a really cool Disney World ride.
Yeah.
In the Galaxy's Edge. I feel like it gave that kind of vibe. Like people are screaming, things are exploding, and then you finally complete the mission. But yeah, no, I thought it was a strong episode for Hunter, and I think that was, probably one of the better scenes of the whole episode.
Yeah, and we also get Phee Genoa shows back up. She shoots down a gunship. They all jump on board, and then we end up basically with Rampart there. And Rampart basically tells us, Nick, that he does not know the exact coordinates of Tantiss because it was designed by the Empire to be a secret, and nobody knows where it is. But he has a way to get there. So, any thoughts on what Rampart is up to here in terms of how he thinks he's going to get everybody to Tantiss?
That's why I'm excited for next week's episode because I'm watching this. I'm like, I have no idea what he's talking about. I can't wait to see. I have no clue.
Yeah, P, I do think it's interesting here with the Tantiss stuff because it does make sense that something this secret, like nobody really knows the exact location. It's probably those things where they give you like spiked orange juice, you fall asleep, and then you're magically there.
I mean, I think he's full of shit. I think he's going to try to lead them in a wrong direction to try to save himself in some sort of capacity. I think there is coordinates. Someone's got to know where it is, right? It's got to start somewhere. It's got to stop somewhere. So I think he's bluffing. I think he's going to try to mess with the Bad Batch a little bit here.
It could be a need to know if they're maybe like very high clearance, know what the exact coordinates are.
Sure. I mean, I'm not. I still think that he's full of it personally.
All right. Anything else you want to add this episode before we get to the trackers?
None from me.
I mean, the only thing I would add is that I believe we finally got the last bit of trailer from
Yes.
this episode.
I've been speculating about this Phee Genoa thing for about like 4 weeks, and now we finally got it.
Yeah. So I think we finally got everything from the trailer, so now everything should be brand new.
Nick, were you
Not that other episodes weren't.
Yeah. Were you surprised we waited this long to get this thing from the trailer? It's one of the first things we saw in the trailer.
Yeah, I was. If I remember correctly, I thought this was going to be the opening scene of the whole show.
Yeah, we
The whole
thought
season.
yeah, like season 2, they did the thing with them running on the crab planet like right away. This is the first thing we saw really in this trailer.
Yeah, just refresh my memory if you know. If not, I'm going to look it up. Do you know when season 2 ended?
It was last April. Probably think about like almost a year ago today.
March 29th, 2023. So basically, okay. Very interesting. It was a pretty fast turnaround.
Yeah, for sure. With a strike involved too, no less.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering because I was thinking about when I was watching the last episode, how the last episode of season 2, I was on the edge of my seat, and I'm starting to feel similar vibes when I'm watching. And I know we're getting close to the end, and I was just wondering when that was.
Yep, and full transparency for the podcast audience here. Before Pete said anything at the end here, we were about 10 minutes from when we said we were going to start the recap to the end. So we were basically spot on with that.
Yeah, so it's over now.
Yeah, it's over now. Let's get to our trackers real quick here. Nick, Erebus is a new planet for us here for Bad Bats here. So 11 planets so far this season.
The over hit. If you bet the over, you're rolling on the dough.
Yep, and Pete, 2 more name clone appearances because Shadow Clone number 2 was there for 2 seconds, dropping off Omega, and Emery Carr is there. So we're up to 34 name clones this season.
It's a great number. I didn't expect it to be that high.
That over under, I don't know. I'd have to check FanDuel Sky Guys.
Yeah, we got that one like went bananas last week when we had a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
appearances. Because remember last week too, Pete, we had our 3 little young clones showed up too. They all triggered the tracker.
Right. Yep.
All right, so let's go.
So wait.
There
were clones?
Yeah, I was supposed to ask. Do we know they're clones?
Yeah, there was the second episode when Hunter and Wrecker found them. They were clones.
The red, blue, and green guys?
No, like the 3 kids
No.
from episode 2 were on Pabu.
I thought you said last episode. That's why I was like, wait a minute.
I thought you were talking. They were in last episode. I thought you were referring to the red, the blue, and the green.
Right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
those are regular kids. Like we're talking about the 3 kids from episode 2 of the season. They were on
Got it.
And episode 11. So let's reset the MVP LVP board through 11 weeks. 11 episodes the Bad Bats, less than 11 weeks, but through 11 episodes of season 3. Shadow Clone number 2 is on top of the board now at +5. Ventress +4, along with Dr. Hemlock, Crosshair, and Omega. Emery Carr is in next up at +3. +2s, Nala Say and Fennec Shan. Kevin Kiner and Hauser are +1. That's the positives here. The negative, CX1, -1. The Goat-Eyed Squid from Max Roberts, -1. The Empire from Joe Simone, -1. Pete, I got Sid on the board last week. -1 from Sid. Jax, -1. Phee Genoa, -2. Rex, -2. Echo, -2. Wrecker, -3. K9X1 got -4. And tied for last, Hunter and Imperial Security, -6. So before we move on here, Pete, you want to enlighten the audience what you did last week?
Yeah, let me remember. I did Sid and Hunter for LVPs, right?
You did Phee and Hunter.
Phee. Sorry. So, I just feel like Hunter really dropped the ball. The whole point was to protect Omega, and Omega was like on the other side of town. Like it wasn't like no one was watching her, no one was doing anything. It just felt like really bad. And then Phee also just allowing the shadow, like just dropping it off for gas. Like, granted, I understand, like whatever, but like lock the door. You're leaving your ship. Lock the door. Do something. You don't need the door to be open to get gas. So, yeah, that's why I gave the LVPs.
And Nick can attest to this. I was screaming about that last week with Phee Genoa. I said, lock the damn door. You're in a very dangerous galaxy.
It did.
Yeah. Yeah, and Pete, I'm shocked you missed the opportunity to ding Sid.
I feel like we've harped on Sid enough, and it's just a name drop. Sid's not actually in the show, right? Like, I didn't miss that. I
No,
didn't
like
look down, look back up, and she was there. So, I mean, I feel like just a name drop to give her the LVP. It's like you already knew she was bad, right? It's kind of like whatever.
yeah, for me it was at the car rolls. Like she popped up, I had to give her an LVP. And Pete's MVPs last week were Shadow Clone number 2 and Omega for a reference.
Yeah, I mean, good for Shao Clone to actually complete the mission that we thought was going to be impossible throughout the season, and also Omega for kind of choosing the greater good and saying, I rather give myself in than have all these people, innocent people on the island, possibly perish or, ruin the island. So she just figured, let's just get this over with and left.
All right, so we'll start here with the MVP section here. I believe I'm up first here, and we're gonna start the comeback for Hunter here. Hunter's getting the MVP. He kicked ass this episode. It was no other choice for me. Pete, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Hunter too. I feel like he was the most standout character. Crosshair had a strong episode too, I feel like, but I think Hunter really led the charge.
Nick, what do you think?
I will complete the sweep.
Yeah, so Hunter way up.
Awesome. I'm excited for him. Hopefully it happens one more time and then he's in the positives.
Yeah, he right now he went from -6 to -3 with this week. So
Great.
good job for Hunter. The LVPs, Pete, you want to start us off?
Um, I mean, we'll go Imperial security again. Just terrible. Just let this ship fly into their airspace and let 3 clones effectively just ruin their day. So, gotta give it to them.
Nick.
I'm in agreement. Repeat. Imperial security.
Yeah, this could be another clean sweep here because this to me was sealed the moment that Phee Genoa's gambit worked, where she just shut her power off and the ship just dropped like a rock and nobody did anything about it. And then it got worse when 3 clones basically infiltrated a base, commandeered an entire tank, blew up another tank, and freed a bunch of prisoners and got off world with 1 prisoner. So terrible job all around by Imperial Security.
Pretty bad.
Yeah. Now we go to the grade section on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is worse than 1978 holiday special. 10 is up there with the Prison Break episode of Andor, which Paul Willamonco wrote as one of the pinnacles of Star Wars content here. Nick, what is your grade for this week's episode?
I'm gonna give it a 8. That was good. I really did. I was thinking maybe to give it a 7, but I went with 8. I think it was a really good episode. It leads into the end of the season great. I'm really excited for the end. And if that's not the job of this episode, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7. It was better than I thought it was going to be. For me, just a smidge too short. I would have liked a little bit more with Hemlock and Omega. I think if you did that, it would have been an 8. But for me, it's a 7. So, Pete, what are you up to?
I'm gonna split the difference to say 7.5. And the reason why is because of the Omega Hemlock story arc. I feel like they didn't give us much there. I think that was the weakest point, and I think that if that was super strong, this would have been close to a 10 for me because I thought the action was good. I thought the Bad Batch's storyline was good, but the Omega and Hemlock one was just really lacking.
Yeah, that's it for that. Next up, we have episode 13 predictions. The title here is Into the Breach. It's an interesting title here to set up next week's episode. We have also left here. I think this is going to be some sort of side quest where Rampart's going to guide the team. Say, we need to go find my contact in the Empire who knows how to get the coordinates for Tantiss, and they're going to have to breach an Imperial base to get to there. So I'm going to hear Rampart leads them onto an Imperial base. So that's my prediction for next week. So what do you think, Pete?
I think you're pretty damn close. I think General Rampart's going to just give him a wild goose chase. I think he's going to try to mess with them, and then finally at the end, toward the end of the episode, they're going to be like, "All right, enough's enough. We know you're screwing with us. Like, figure it out." Yeah. So I think it's going to be another quote unquote side mission, even though I think it'll have to do with the main story.
Nick, your thoughts?
I don't really have an opinion. I'm going to go with what you said and think that you just lead him to the base because I don't really have any other option. I mean, That I do want to mention it though. Why was this episode called Juggernaut?
I think probably
Officer?
I think the tank maybe was the Juggernaut.
Yeah, I guess.
That's why I watched this. It's probably a tank.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for the episode here. We'll be back next week to cover episode 13 of the Bad Batch season 3. Only 3 episodes left to go. And I think you guys are coming on here again. People want to follow you on social media. How can they do that?
At Consy29 on Twitter, CONSY29 on Twitter, AP Tyler 308 created this background on Reddit, so make sure you check them out.
Nick, one more time. People want to follow us on social media. How can they do that?
At Sky Guys Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and TikTok.
You can also follow me on social media, mphillips331. It's MPHILIPS331. This week over the Just and Suffering podcast, got not 1, but 2 episodes out this week. We spoke to friends of the Sky Guys, Dan DiMartini, on Sunday to preview the Masters this week. And we had a nice episode this week earlier here. We did our March Madness coverage with Troy Moriello. And another friend of the Sky Guys, Martino Puccio, came on to talk about the series finale of Curb Your Enthusiasm, Pete.
Series finale? They're done?
They are done.
Wow. Didn't know that.
Third time they've been done, but this time I believe it.
I do believe it too. Like the finale really did a nice job wrapping it up in a bow.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah. I gave it a 10 out of 10, Nick.
I probably would too. I would too. I mean, they can't have everyone in the entire show come back in that last episode, which, because they were bringing back so many people, which I understand. There's a lot of people that I wish did come back that didn't, but again, you can't bring everyone back.
Everyone I thought that needed to be there was there.
I think they missed one key player.
Yeah.
Wanda.
Yeah, has not been there for a long time.
Because she was too busy with the Bad Batch.
Yeah, she was probably doing VO for Phee Genoa that day.
Yeah. No, I feel like Wanda was missing, honestly. And I would have loved it, but I understand why. I don't really understand why, but I think Rosie O'Donnell should have been there as well.
Or Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, but he was only in like one episode, right? Wasn't Rosie in a few?
Yeah, Rosie's in a few. All right, so that's it for us this week. We'll be back next week to talk about going into the breach with the Bad Batch. But until then, may the Force be with you.